comet, asteroid, or something else? A Harvard astrophysicist believes there's a strong likelihood this is a craft of alien origin.
It started with an alert deep inside the Pentagon's Space Command division. A low-priority monitoring terminal flashed a yellow warning. Unidentified transmission detected. Origin, 3I Atlas sector. Within minutes, that alert became red. What began as a faint, intermittent signal had become a sustained broadcast. Powerful, structured, and unlike anything the United States had ever intercepted before. For weeks, the interstellar object, known as 3I Atlas, had been tracked by NASA, Harvard, and international observatories. It was the third confirmed interstellar visitor in human history, a mysterious body traveling from deep space through the solar system. At first, it appeared harmless, a frozen rock or metallic fragment following a stable trajectory. But recently, it had started to behave in ways no natural object ever could. It changed direction. It emitted energy bursts. It pulsed with measurable patterns that some believed were signals.
In that sense, it looks as if this trajectory might have been planned and it's fine-tuned for a purpose.
Now, for the first time, the Pentagon had detected something directly coming from it. The intercepted transmission wasn't a normal radio signal. It was narrowband, highly focused, and modulated with extreme precision, so precise that no known natural process could generate it. The signal had originated from the exact coordinates of 3I Atlas and was traveling on a trajectory that intersected Earth's upper atmosphere. At first, analysts believed it was a transmission aimed at Earth, possibly directed at NASA's Deep Space Network. But when radar data came back, something else became clear. The signal wasn't just data, it carried mass. The Space-Based Infrared System, or SBIRS, detected a faint heat signature, a small object moving along the same vector as the signal. It was compact, fast, and controlled. Within hours, the Pentagon's tracking network confirmed that an unknown object, approximately 2 meters in diameter, had entered the solar wind, accelerating toward Earth at extraordinary speed. The object appeared immediately after the transmission. To the analysts watching the data come in, it looked like 3I Atlas had just launched something. By the time the information reached the Pentagon's Joint Operations Center, the mood was tense. Space Command, NORAD, and NASA were ordered to synchronize tracking. The unidentified object was now classified as a potential extraterrestrial probe. Its speed was measured at over 120,000 kilometers per hour, and its course placed it on a direct intercept with Earth's orbit within 36 hours. There was no known propulsion system, no visible exhaust, no ion trail. The object appeared to be using a form of acceleration unknown to current physics. The Department of Defense immediately moved to containment. Public awareness was zero. NASA was instructed to refer all questions about 3I Atlas to the Pentagon's media division. Behind closed doors, an emergency meeting was called. For the first time in decades, a civilian space agency and the US military were working side by side under the same classified directive. In the hours that followed, radar stations across North America began receiving brief, irregular pings from the object. It was small, almost invisible against the background noise of space. But every few minutes, it emitted a pulse, a sharp spike of radio energy identical to the signature previously recorded from 3I Atlas. The connection was undeniable. Whatever this was, it had come from the interstellar object. By early morning, the Pentagon issued an internal alert codenamed Silent Reach. Its purpose was simple: track, identify, and if necessary, intercept the incoming body before it reached the atmosphere. Ground-based radar in Alaska, Greenland, and Norway began triangulating its position. Satellites adjusted orbits to maintain visual contact. Then, something changed. The object slowed down. Its speed dropped by half in less than 2 hours. It wasn't decelerating randomly, it was matching Earth's orbital velocity. It was maneuvering. At that moment, every assumption shifted. This wasn't a rock or a fragment. It was an active device. The US Air Force launched 2 classified spacecraft from Vandenberg Space Force Base, unmanned vehicles designed for deep space interception. Their orders were simple: approach, record, and analyze the unidentified object without engagement. The approach took 12 hours. During that time, the object maintained a fixed velocity and heading, as if waiting. When the intercept vehicles closed within 200 kilometers, their sensors began picking up strong electromagnetic emissions, not random bursts, but perfectly timed pulses. The spacing matched a mathematical sequence, the same one detected from 3I Atlas weeks earlier. One of the spacecraft captured high-resolution imagery. The first clear images stunned everyone who saw them. The object was metallic, smooth, and perfectly spherical, no larger than a small satellite. Across its surface were faint lines, grooves or seams that seemed to form a geometric pattern. It reflected light unnaturally, as if coated in a material designed to absorb radiation rather than reflect it. Then, without warning, it responded. As the intercept vehicle closed to within 150 kilometers, the sphere emitted a brief flash of energy. Not a weapon, not heat, but a directed burst of radio and microwave frequencies. Every sensor on the spacecraft went offline for 2.7 seconds. When the systems rebooted, the object was gone. It hadn't exploded or vanished. It had accelerated away, instantly, at a velocity impossible for any human-made craft. Within seconds, it was out of range. Tracking radars briefly reacquired it near the upper atmosphere before it disappeared completely. Moments later, the signal returned. Every major radar array, from Greenland to Hawaii, picked up identical transmissions. They weren't random noise. They were pulsed sequences, binary, prime numbers, repeating harmonic tones. They were identical to those emitted by 3I Atlas itself. For the next 6 hours, the Pentagon maintained total radio silence, while NASA's Deep Space Network quietly recorded every byte of data. Analysts realized the signal wasn't broadcasting outward. It was triangulating. The transmissions were bouncing between 3I Atlas and the vicinity of Earth, like 2 beacons exchanging coordinates. At that moment, the military realized the horrifying possibility. 3I Atlas hadn't sent the object to Earth randomly. It had sent it to find something. By the next morning, the Department of Defense held an emergency briefing at the highest classification level. Only a handful of officials were present. The conclusion was unavoidable. An active probe had been launched from an interstellar object of unknown origin, and that probe had just entered Earth's vicinity before vanishing from radar. The official language was careful. The Pentagon referred to it as a foreign, non-terrestrial anomaly. The public would never hear that term. Satellite imagery continued scanning the upper atmosphere for debris or re-entry trails. None were found. Whatever the object was, it hadn't burned up, it hadn't crashed, it had simply disappeared. Hours later, astronomers at the Atacama Observatory in Chile detected something unexpected. A faint, narrow-band signal originating from low Earth orbit. The same frequency as 3I Atlas. It was weak, but unmistakable. The source wasn't on the ground, and it wasn't coming from any known satellite. It was transmitting from just above the planet, roughly 200 miles up, in the same region where the mysterious object had last been seen. The Pentagon's communications center went on immediate lockdown. All commercial satellite data over that orbital sector was temporarily restricted. Civilian astronomers noticed gaps in publicly available feeds. Something was being hidden. For the next 48 hours, the unidentified transmission continued, bouncing between multiple orbital positions. Each signal lasted only a few seconds before moving on. It was as if the object was scanning Earth, mapping, cataloguing, or searching for something specific. Eventually, the signal stopped. Every trace vanished, and for the first time in 3 days, the skies above Earth fell silent again. But 3I Atlas was still out there, still watching, still pulsing with rhythmic bursts of energy across the void. The timing of those pulses now matched the transmission intervals of the object that had entered Earth's orbit. Whatever had come from 3I Atlas was still communicating with it. The Pentagon never released an official statement. The event remains classified under internal code SR1A. When pressed for comment, a spokesperson simply stated that no object of concern has entered the atmosphere. But behind the curtain, the reality is different. Multiple sources within the defense community have confirmed that the US, China, and Russia have all begun tracking new faint signals in low orbit, signals that follow no known satellite pattern and originate from no registered source.